All right, everybody, welcome back to our Training Day podcast. I got my man, the Beast, Joe Basso, who has been a complete savage in everything that he's done. From the time he said hello to Family First Life up until today, he is constantly moving, constantly shaking, and understands profitability in a way that we all should. And so I wanted to get him on. We know today the convention starts. We are excited to be in Dallas, and we're going to go through some best practices as well. But you should listen in, dial in, because the information that's going to come out of this is going to really help you. Joe, my man, how you doing, brother?
What's up, bro? I am fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Excited to have you on. Obviously, we pre-recorded this, but we know what's happening in Dallas, Texas today with the event kicking off. We've got a jam-packed speaker lineup. And you know what's funny, Joe? I've been saying this for probably a week or so, but Club Shay Shay, Shannon Sharp is going to be the keynote speaker here this week. And I've gotten more calls and texts since this Cat Williams interview went viral a few weeks back. And I'm sure we got him when the price was low, because the price is definitely up. But we'll get into some of that stuff, Joe. I want to kind of get into, your experiences at convention, some of the things that you've experienced going to events like this, how these events have helped you. You came into this opportunity with a lot of business acumen, but you've learned a lot. You ask a lot of questions. You talk to a lot of key players, try to figure out what they're doing, there's some key things that you do day to day, every day, that people should be doing hyper speed here. I want to kind of extract some of that stuff from you. So I'd appreciate you if you can go into a little bit of how to take advantage of an event like this.
Yeah, man. I mean, first off, today's the day we've all been waiting for since last year. This particular convention is a special one for me because my first convention was 3 years ago, almost to the day.
Wow.
And that was really my introduction into the insurance industry. Not only that, it was, February 21. I know you remember, Mark, a lot of people listening would remember that was the year, because of COVID, it was broken up into a bunch of different cities.
Yep.
And I just happened to be at the Dallas location.
Ha.
So this one feels special because it's 3 years coming back to where it all began. And there's no doubt in my mind that convention, February 21 in Dallas, it changed my life in a lot of different ways. I've been thinking back on it as I've been kind of gearing up and preparing for this year's convention. Man, I made connections and built relationships there that day, that convention 3 years ago, that quite literally helped my brain, helped my mind, my mindset, the actual practical part of this business evolve and evolve quickly, evolve rapidly. I just was listening to, it was a podcast, but it was essentially a lesson that Jordan Peterson had taught. And he was talking about people that kind of excel at anything in life. And he said, it's funny, most people assume that it's their IQ that helps them to excel and get to the front of the pack. And he said, I'm not saying IQ has nothing to do with it. He said, but what has more to do with it than IQ is speed. He said, it's just common sense. If you can move quickly and you can move with efficiency and you've got speed on your side, well, you're getting ahead. You're going to make tons of mistakes, but you're getting ahead of other people. And so I think I learned some of those things that convention. And so, this is a special one for me, Mark. I'm pretty pumped about this convention, and I think it's going to be pretty incredible.
Yeah, man. I remember that convention, the 2021 Multiple Cities Convention. And if I recall, you were brand new. You were you were at a place where you were ready to gobble the information, but I think you were down there with like 5 or 6 people. Like it wasn't a lot of people, right?
I had brought 5 or 6 people, none of which were licensed yet.
Right.
It was literally I was brand spanking new.
And so you
Didn't
were,
have a single licensed agent.
and so that's amazing. I wanna hone in here because what made you go to that event?
God's honest truth, Gabe Erickson made me go to that event. He hounded me and hounded me and hounded me and hounded me. And he was like, bro, you got to be here. You got to be here. You got to be here. And of course, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
If you've never been to the convention, you've been to other sales
Right.
trainings, which, sometimes you might have a negative feeling about sales conventions or sales trainings.
Right.
And you really can't put into words all that this convention is going to do for a new producer or even a seasoned producer, agency owner. And so, Gabe had called me probably 2 months before and said, hey, we're going to convention. He didn't ask, said, we're going to convention. I was like, we are? I was like, I don't know, bro. I got a lot going on.
I assume that would be your answer, but I was actually thinking that you might have said, "All right, we're going. I want to hear this."
No. I was like, I don't know, bro. I got a lot going on to take 3 days away from my wife and son. I got, this, Mark. I had another, successful business that I'm running and it's rolling and we're trying to get that back on tracks after COVID.
Right.
I was like, I don't know if I can take 3-4 days out of and he's like, bro, you need to, Gabe, you hear him saying it. He's like, bro, you need to. And I'm like, all right, man. Well, let me see what I can do. Maybe I'll come down for a day. And, Gabe is a goat because Gabe will just chisel at you, man. Like that's why Gabe is so good.
He's a beast. He's a beast. He's amazing at that, bro.
Yeah, and before you know it, my flights are booked for the entire convention, and Airbnb. Gabe ended up staying with me, and that was huge, man. I'll never forget. I'll never forget walking in and seeing the amount of people that were there and excited to be there, and then watching the people on stage. And there were so many things that impacted me at that first convention for me, but I don't think anything impacted me more than the sheer volume of people that were top producers, that were building agencies, that they were making real money, real money. And I'm watching these people, and this is not a negative, this is a positive. They were all average Joes. Don't get me wrong,
right.
Some are massively sharp in their own right.
Yeah.
But you're looking around, and I think this is the most powerful part.
Yes.
When you look at volume, we say volume cures all, and volume cures all in all kinds of ways. But in terms of convention, volume curing all, I thought to myself, there is no stinking way that this many people are winning here, and I can't win here.
Right.
And I hope that anybody that's showing up today to convention 2024, dude, I hope that's the thing that you take away, because there is nobody that's special on that stage. Nobody. Every one of them, they wake up just like you, put their pants on, brush their teeth just like you, deal with the same anxiety, same fears, same struggles, same insecurities. And the difference is some people know how to mask those things and overcompensate those things with work ethic. And you beg, you borrow, you steal, you copy and paste other successful people. And dude, my pastor always says, Rome was not built in a day, but Rome was built every day. And so you start building Rome every single day, brother. And before you know it, 3 years later, you're showing up to convention in a much different position than 3 years ago.
That's a game-changing statement. And when you were down in Dallas 3 years ago, and even the consecutive years after that, because your business has grown every single year. I mean, and so you've taken stuff out of convention every year, and you've built those relationships that you've built. You've tapped into those relationships every single year. If you're down at if you're here in Dallas with us today, and over the next 3 days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, what should I be looking to do to get the best out of this event?
I think there's a couple things, right? Number one, this is a very cliche saying now. It's everywhere, but I think sometimes, Mark, we make the mistake. We hear something so often that it almost takes away from the truth, but it shouldn't.
Right.
If you hear it all the time, we should actually put more emphasis on it.
Right.
They say, your network is your net worth.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you cannot possibly overemphasize the importance of networking in business. It is the number one thing that will bring you future growth. Because, man, if you think that you're the guy, you're the girl that has to come up with every new idea and you have to pioneer every original thought, man, you're going to struggle long term. But when you can network with other intelligent, sharp people that are building things, and what's cool about our company is we're all building parallel companies. Doesn't mean they're all the same. They're not clones, but they're parallels. And so what you can glean from other people that are steps ahead of you, some are right side by side you, maybe some are even behind you volume wise, but they're doing something better than you. If you can piggyback on what other people are doing and grab thoughts and ideas and experience, bro, you save yourself years and millions of dollars. So you time and money. So it's the truth, right?
Right.
So for us, 2023, this, we've talked about it before. This was the year of profitability. So the first 2 years, it was volume, volume, volume. This year was, hey, we're still focused on volume, but we're really hyper-focused on not just our profitability, but ensuring all the agencies on our team are profitable.
Sure.
So, I'd say 2023 was our most successful year yet.
That's amazing.
What we're doing in 2024 is going to be unbelievable because we've all learned a lot.
Yeah.
We've all learned a lot along the way. And so you're coming into convention, you should be thinking, all right, who's doing what really well?
Right.
And get with that individual, get with those individuals and ask very specific questions, right? Like don't come up to, one of the GOATs, Mark Mead, and just shoot the breeze. Ask very specific questions. Now, Mark, you and I would consider us incredible friends. I think we're lifelong friends.
Amen,
that, we'll do lots of incredible things together. But our first 5-10 conversations were not you and me talking about sports or life. Or it was very intentional. We're talking about business building blocks. Does that make sense? Yeah. So that's what I'm focused on if I'm a new agent or any agent coming to convention. What can I glean that I can take and implement in my own business to grow my business, grow volume, grow profitability?
And so you are one of the best at profitability. And I wanna kind of transition into that a little bit. Because listen, there will not be another year that goes by where the word profitability is not being talked about at real scale, which I think is amazing because we do own businesses. And by the way, a profitable business makes sense. And so we're all business owners rolling into Dallas. You should be thinking about profitability. There's a short-term profitability game. There's a long-term profitability game, right? The short-term profitability game, Joe, we're trying to stay alive. I'm trying to learn a lot. I'm trying to learn a few things that'll keep me alive as I'm trying to scale revenue, trying to scale my business without going out of business. We're making a little bit, making some, trying to figure that out, but profitable. The long-term profitability game you've mastered. Can you talk to us about some of the building blocks, some of the tools that you've put in place to create the kind of profitable business that you have with In Depth, as well as the way you train and the way you hone in on people making money?
Yeah, absolutely. First off, we're all independent business owners, right? So When I get going, I know this about myself, Mark. I speak a lot of things as if they're fact because that's the way my brain works.
Mm-hmm.
I have to believe something is a fact for me to get behind and get passionate about it.
Right.
So I understand before I even get started on this topic, you might be doing things completely differently than me. And if it's working and you're profitable and your people are profitable and they're winning, keep doing what you're doing. I'm just going to tell you what we've done that has worked really well for us, which is, a few different things. Number one, systems and structures need to be concise and efficient, super, super simple, so that anybody can replicate it. So that is for me one of the core building blocks of our entire business. I want to be able to recruit and go after a successful business owner, an entrepreneur in their own right, man or woman that has real experience and wants a profitable business in the life insurance space, and be able to say, hey, here's what we've done. Here's our standard operating procedures on recruiting, on contracting, on onboarding, on training. Here's the manual, and let me walk you through it. Come to one of our offices. Come fly out to New Jersey. Come to our Indiana office. We're going to show you what these SOPs look like in real life. So I think for us, that's key. I don't care, Mark, people listening in, your standard operating procedure does not have to be what ours is, but it should be you should know exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be able to clearly articulate and share the vision and teach anybody coming into your business how the simple infrastructure, like the structural items in your business work. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And I think that's like a big box you got to check off. You're like, how does that relate to profitability? Well, if you don't have those systems and structures in place, you're spending your time and way more of your time with every single independent business owner coming to your business, explaining these things in long form, when in reality, if you have it dialed in so well where it's copy and paste, that's going to free up time, bandwidth. You can actually go make money.
Yep.
You can do the things that make your business money. So I think that's key. And we spent quite a few months in the beginning making sure our infrastructure and foundation was in good shape.
Yep.
I think that's helped, right? It's not perfect, but it's in a good place. So I think from there, teaching people the proper way to actually carve out their business. Profit isn't a dirty word. I get very frustrated when people act like profit is a dirty word. Man, nothing gets me more upset because, like you just said, I'm not joking, man. It really bothers me. Business, and if you don't know this and you're listening in, you should like underscore this like 1,000 times, like your teacher used to make you do when you spoke out too much. You got to write something 1,000 times on the chalkboard. Like this is key in any business transaction. Business is nothing more than an exchange of value. That's all that it is. I don't care what situation you're in business, whether it's an affiliate situation, whether it's a partner situation, employer-employee, independent contractor, it's nothing more than an exchange of value. And so if I've got agents coming in and they're reaping, I don't know, Mark, I think at this point we've spent almost $4 million on our business in the last 3 years, just on infrastructure.
Right.
So if I've spent $4 million to get our business in the place that it's in, and somebody's going to come in and reap all the benefits of that, and they also want to squeeze it to the place where I have zero profit off of their team, I'm not interested in working with that person. Does that make sense?
Too much sense.
So here's what I'm getting at. If I can clearly articulate the value exchange that someone is getting by working with me and my team, and I can clearly articulate the value that you're going to bring working with our team, and I can clearly articulate how that exchange will grow over time, what that exchange will pivot to and look like over time. Man, proper expectations set up for long-term relationships. Improper expectations, they fail every time. The relationship fails 100% of the time with improper expectations. So we've been able to kind of dial in and set and say, hey, this is what you can expect from us, and this is what we will expect from you. If we don't deliver on what we're promising, you have every right to be upset and call us out on it, because we're going to do the same for you. And again, you're thinking, how does this relate to profitability? This is the game for profitability. If you don't understand these basic value exchanges and how to clearly articulate them, you have no basis to build a profitable business, especially in an independent contractor world. Does that make sense, Mark?
It does. It makes a ton of sense.
When you can do that and you could clearly explain that and teach that and transfer that knowledge clearly, not just to your directs, but also to the layers in your business, you say, well, what's the number one key to maintaining a long-term profitable business? Here's my answer to that in short. I've got to make sure all the IBOs in my business are profitable. It's not good enough if I'm profitable, because, bro, if I'm just profitable at the quote unquote top of the hierarchy and all the middle managers and IBOs in the middle are not profitable, they're going to go elsewhere. I promise you, they will go somewhere else where they can become profitable. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
There's a real thing called burnout. So I've got to transfer that knowledge and teach people how to build a profitable business from day one with the right foundation, the proper systems, structures that they can piggyback on that we've already spent millions of dollars on. Yeah. That's part of the value exchange. That's part of them becoming profitable. And if they maintain profitability long-term, of course, I maintain profitability long-term. And there's no reason for those relationships to sour.
Right.
Does that make sense?
It does. It's very clear. Very clear and articulated well. Man, it's like business in a box, you know? And I think that people can really listen in and get a clue on how important systems and processes and infrastructure is. Because when you have the right foundation, Joe, the house can last for hundreds of years. If the foundation is all shaky and rocky, then if it's not a firm foundation, it can be blown away by any small thing that takes place. And so what you clearly articulated is how firm your foundation is and how a firm foundation creates profitability for the business and profitability for everyone inside the business. And that's very important in our business, very important. Because nothing's better than winning with a bunch of people winning. That is like the game. That is our game. At our best, that's our game. Winning, and a bunch of people are winning too. Not everybody's winning, because some people won't do the effort, the work, what it takes to win. But the people that are willing to work and do the things that are necessary are winning. And it's amazing to see sustained winning success. And that's what you represent, brother.
Bro, I appreciate you saying that. I feel I could say that to you as well, and that's huge. That's why we get along so well. You make a great point there, and I'll reemphasize it. Not everybody's going to win, but you should have a system and structure that the winners, the people that are actually going to work and doing the right things and are coachable, they're showing up, they're showing out. If the winners can win and win big, everything else is fine. Because if you're not willing to show up and go to work, you're not going to win anywhere else either. Does that make sense?
100%. And so our business creates the opportunity for anyone who wants to go to work and follow simple systems. And the cool thing is we're at a scale right now, Joe, where, you know, the systems are out there. Like the processes are out there. So if they're looking to grow and they want to join a dialed-in team, Joe, how do they find you?
I mean, we're very easy to find. Find us on social, 320 Life. You could also just call me or text me. A lot of people just call me or text me, and I'm always available. 419-860-4928. I would love to hear from you if you want to join a winning team.
And winning you are. I mean, at the end of the day, If you didn't hear winning in this podcast, you're deaf. So, Joe, I appreciate you for sharing. Thank you for the nuggets on convention, how to master it. It's going to be a jam-packed weekend, folks. Stay dialed in, stay locked in, find the people you need to find. Come with your hierarchy of questions, the things you need to know to get to your next 3 to 5 levels. And Joe, you killed it today. So thank you so much for all you do, man.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, man. Thank you for listening, guys. God bless. Let's make it a big weekend. Take care. Thanks, Joe.